Hi everyone, we welcome you here for Java 6 Days Bootcamp Day 3. We know that everybody is eagerly waiting for this third video. So let me just tell you what we have covered in the previous session. In the day 2, that we have seen how we can create the login and sign up page, where we have seen how we have beautifully connected those pages. Or if you want to create multiple pages also, we will be able to do the connection with each and other pages, even though we would be able to apply some event onto it successfully. Now, the most important topic we were, waiting for. So when it comes that you have created, an application which is having a dynamic concept, we want that data, the user is interacting with that application, that data should save into database, and you should know how to retrieve it, how to delete it, how to update it. Then only you would be telling that application is working fantastic, right? So let me just take you to that part. So in day 3, we will see how we will be able to add data in database. That is MySQL database we are going to use using Swings UI. That means we could be working on Swings user interface. We would be having MySQL with us, that is a database, and we'll see how we beautifully connect these two things with the help of some drivers and APIs. Okay, so before initiating, to the practical concept today, I would be taking you to some theoretical concept. So when it comes in our mind, Java JDBC. So JDBC stands for Java Database Connectivity. So JDBC is a Java API to connect and execute the query with database. So it is a part of Java SC, that is called Java Standard Edition. JDBC API uses JDBC drivers to connect with the database. So before initiating to the next part, I would like to tell you here how we are actually connecting to the database. So let me just give you a real-time example. If I want to call somebody, what I have to do, I have to pick up my phone, landline phone. I used to dial the number, and definitely I can call to that next or another person, right? But here, so the way we are connecting to other person with the help of telephone and mobile phone, here if I want to connect my application, what I'm creating using Swings framework, if I want to connect that particular application with database, I require JDBC drivers. So JDBC drivers are used by JDBC API. So let me take you to this part. Before that, we have multiple JDBC drivers available. JDBC, ODBC, bridge driver, we have native, network protocol driver, thin drivers. So we have multiple drivers available. So let me take you to the next way of presenting the things, because as I have explained you that we want our application to be connected with database, we require JDBC drivers. This is beautifully we have explained the concept of how we are going to proceed with JDBC. Now let me take you to the list, because definitely when it comes for JDBC API, it includes interfaces as well as classes. So when it comes for interfaces, these are the list available. It could be driver interface, connection interface, statement interface, prepare statement interface, and many more. When it comes that the popular classes under the JDBC API, we have driver manager class, blob type class. So we have multiple classes and interfaces available. Through that, we are able to perform those codes, and we can able to save the data into database successfully. So let me take you to why should we use JDBC. This is a very, very important question. So before JDBC, we used to work over ODBC API. So ODBC API was the database API to connect and execute the query with the database. But ODBC API uses ODBC driver, which is written in C language, that is platform dependent and unsecured. That's why Java has defined its own API, JDBC API, that uses JDBC Java database connectivity drivers, which is specifically written in Java language. So we can use JDBC API to handle database using Java program and can perform some of the activities like connect to the database, executing the queries, updating the statements in the database, retrieving the results received from the database. So these are the following activities we can perform when we are using JDBC API. So let me take you to most 5 important steps which we follow while doing the Java database connectivity. There are 5 steps to connect any Java application with the database using JDBC. One is register the driver class. Second, create connection. Create statement. You need to execute the query. And last is close connection. Registering the driver class, creating the connection, creating the statement. Once you complete these 3 steps, you need to execute the queries and close the connection. So this is what the steps we are going to follow. Now, next, I would be explaining you about these, some topics. Register the driver class. When it comes, register for the driver class, you need to remember this term for name. The for name method of class is used to register the driver class. Basically, when I'm using, let's say we want to use MySQL, we want to use Oracle database. So whatever the database I'm using, I need to register kind of driver while using or writing the code. So let's say if I'm using the concept of MySQL, because I would be installing XAMPP and there I am using MySQL, right? So if I'm using MySQL, that means I need to write class.forName, and here I need to mention com.mysql.cg.jdbc.driver. In case if it could be IBM DB2, I would be using com.ibm.db2. Type the line will change. Things will change as per the driver class. So this is what here with the help of for name, you would be able to register your driver class, right? So that dynamically this is going to load your driver class, right? So let me take you to the next step that called create the connection object. So when it comes creation of the object, but object should be connection object. So it is going to help you. Like here you have to write get connection. So we have a method called get connection of driver manager class. So basically we are going to use driver manager dot get connection. So driver manager is my class and get connection is my method, and these get connection is going to help you to establish connection between your application and your database, because in that you would be telling the machine that my database name is this, the username is this, the password is this. You can see that with the help of connection object equals to driver manager is my class and dot get connection is my method. So I'm just calling this get connection, and here I'm mentioning that I'm using MySQL. My port number is 3306. My database name is trap. My username is XYZ and my password is 1234. Blah blah, anything, right? So by that way, we are actually accessing or establishing the connection between the application and the database. Let me take you to the third step, create the statement object. This is again a very important part. So when it comes, create statement method of connection interface is used to create the statement. So the object of statement is responsible. Why we are using this? It is responsible to execute the queries in the database. You just need to understand when you want to execute something, if you want to save something, if you want to update something, if you want to delete something, if you want to retrieve something, you have to use this statement object. So I'll take you through some methods which we use while accessing the statement interface. It could be execute query, it could be execute update. You can see here execute query function, execute update function, or it could be execute boolean execute or execute batch. So we have multiple options available. Depending upon the situation, we are going to use the method, right? So we will see how we are going to implement while doing the practical concepts. So this is what we are at the third stage we've completed successfully. Now we are at the fourth stage, execute the query, because you have done the concept of while calling that execute, update, execute query. Like when you are using any kind of statement, like you're applying select star, or if you want to insert something, you're applying something, that means you want that to be execute. Now that you want the result basically, right? So let me take you to back again, because you are using a statement object. So you're actually created a object of that statement, and this statement object will connect you to those queries, and those queries will give you the results. So basically these queries which I have explained, this is totally related to your fourth step, execute the query. So when you are creating any object, you are actually want to execute that query. That is why you are creating the object, right? So object can be like simply have created the object, and when it comes to execute it, it could be execute, update, execute query, normal execute, or execute batch. So depending upon the situation, you are going to have some methods related to statement interface. So that is why we are using this. So this is the way I have represented, right? So let me take you to the close the connection, because definitely if you're using those steps at the end, you require to close it. When you go out from your house or home, you have to lock the door. Same when you are performing something, it's connected to something, now you need to close it, then only you would be able to do the next task, right? So today, as we've seen how beautifully we have understood the concept of this JDBC, let me take you to the practical concept. So let's play and again test your skills by adding the data in the database using strings frameworks. When I say let's play and test, so first we'll see how we are actually going to do the practical. Then I would be sharing you the test link, right? So that you can give your test and check your skills. Okay, give me a minute. As we have seen how we have beautifully created the login and sign page, but that was the basic concept we have learned. Now today, as we have to work differently, so before initiating the practical, I would like to highlight something, because this NetBeans is NetBeans IDE 14. You have to be very careful while the version of your JDK. So JDK 18 should be installed in your system, because when you're doing designing part, that's perfectly okay. Any kind of JDK you're accessing, that's okay. But when it's come the connection, when you're going to use APIs, you're going to connect your application with database, then you need to be very careful. Your versions should match with your JDK. So if you're using Apache NetBeans IDE 14, your JDK should be 18 or more than that, right? So when it comes, because I have successfully installed JDK 18 in my system, now I have even I'm going to give you the link for the JDBC connector. So because those connectors are going to help you to connect your database and your application. So now here you need to change the steps to perform, or you to create a class. So let me just click on new project. You could see that earlier we were working on Java with Maven, but now as we wanted to actually work with drivers and connection of database, we need to work with Java with Ant. So Java with Ant have an option Java application. Very carefully, you just need to click on Java with Ant and Java application, and then click on next. Now I'll be just writing here day 3 connectivity. I'll write JDBC basically. I think JDBC. Perfect. Day 3 underscore JDBC. Let me just click on finish. Automatically an application successfully will be created. You could see that the Java file has been created, but we don't require it. I am going to delete it from here. Let me delete this. And in the package, you can see that the package is empty. Now click on new, and I would be creating JFrame form. Perfect. So here, connection Okay, I'll not give the name connection. Day 3 class and underscore database 1, right? So I have given a name. It's up to you what name you want to give. You can give, right? So very easy for us to create a UI now because we are now expert, right? Let me take you to that label. I'm just making a very simple UI so that at least you understand the way we are actually saving the data. I don't want to make it complex for you, right? So I'm dragging and dropping the label. Let me just change the name. Username. Password. So let's say this is kind of registration page, right? Username, password. I just drag it up here, and I'm putting your email also. Email, right? And here I will be dragging and dropping the button, and I'll be writing the registration, right? And adjacent to these labels, I need to pass the text field because text field for email, very nice. And now password, we require password field, perfect. I'll be removing these words from here, removing this fields. Oh, I'm so sorry. Yeah, here I would be removing these elements. Now we need to change the name of this particular widget. So change the variable name, make it U1, E1, and then P1. Very simple, right? So I've given the name to these elements so that we will be able to access them. Double click on this registration, they will take you to jail action button performed, right? So when we are here, now what I'm going to do, very simple. We have 3 elements from where we need to extract the data, which we have already discussed in the previous section. I will be taking you to here on the top. Here I'm declaring the variables, string. It could be username, comma, email, comma, password, right? And semicolon. So let me, okay, because they are unused, that is why it is showing yellow color. So here, so because just to, I can see what exactly variable I'm using it. So UNEMPS, right? So here what I will do, I'm going to pass EM, and PS, right? So here basically we are using these 3 variables, and adjacent to this I'm going to fetch the data, whatever the user will pass. So you can see that from username, I need to fetch the data. So how I'm going to fetch, because this name of this particular element is U1. In the same way for E1, P1, we need to access the same way. So let's say U1 dot get text. I'm extracting the data from username. I'm extracting the data from E1 dot get text, and in the same way I'm extracting the data from password. That means P1 dot get text. So this is depreciated, that is why it is showing strike off. So username, it's UN, right? So basically we have seen how we have fetched the data from each and every field. Let me just remove these spaces. Now the next most important step. Now we see, as we have seen, the 5 steps to perform the connectivity. So the first, as we have seen, the calling of the driver, right? So basically here I'm going to use, I'll take help of PPT as well so that you can even understand and you can even link the things. Okay, I'm just copying these steps here and take you to, yes, basically I will put a comment. So how to apply comment here, you just write the things and close asterisk and slash. These steps will become your comment. These are the steps. Class dot for name, as we have already seen, register the driver class. So this would be your first step. Class dot for name. Oh, so class dot for name you need to, because why it is showing this? Because it should be C should be capital. So when I'm using class dot for name, you can see that there are multiple options. So just need to pass for name. And as we are using MySQL, so before passing any element over here, I would like to show you that I have installed XAMPP. You can also install XAMPP. I can give you the link to install XAMPP and to download the connector. So you can see that I can stop it also, but it's already working. So we just need to click on start and stop here. And if you want to redirect yourself to that database portal page, you just need to click on admin. They will take you to this page, this main page, and you can see that there are multiple database created. We have created now. To create a new database, we just need to follow these steps. But before that, I would like to take you to the code. Let me just start with the first and second stage, then we will go for creation of database and the table. So here, because we are working on MySQL, you could see, you could compare it. We have started the MySQL. So I would be passing double quotes com dot mysql dot cj dot jdbc dot driver, right? So this is what we have passed class dot point. So this will show you the error because this should be inside the try and catch block. That means if there is any error, that catch should catch the exception and can throw the exception to us, right? So basically, we can pass, or later on we can do try and catch. So this is what register the driver class. So you have passed it. I can write it double slash and paste. This is what we have done. In case you want to pass try, because it should be inside the try and catch block. So I'm just passing these curly braces, catch. Oh, I'm so sorry. It should be curly braces. And in catch, there should be normal bracket, which where you could pass exception E. So this is what I have created the object for exception. And if I want to see which kind of error machine is throwing to me, I am going to take an help of this E dot print stack trace. Print stack trace is going to print whole statement, and we can trace the error easily. So this is what I used to follow, right? So we have seen how beautifully we have written the first step, how beautifully we have registered the driver class. Now the next step, that means create connection, which is important step. So let me take you to connection object, connection con equals to, now as I explained you, driver manager class, we have dot get connection or get connection, and in this we need to pass the database name, the username and the password. So when you install XAMPP, you could see that your by default username will be admin, and whatever the password you will set, as I haven't set any password, so there would be no password for me, right? As we have redirected ourselves over this PHP MyAdmin, this is XAMPP where I'm using MySQL, right? So you can see that this is what, when you click on new, this is going to help you to create the database. Can you see that create database? So I'm writing day 3 underscore database. This is what I'm going to use, Control A, Control C. And here I can change the UTF type of my database. UTF, I think we'll make it general actually. UTF-8 general CI and create. So successfully we have created the database. You can see that day3 database. So let me just pass this database name inside this get connection. So when here I'm passing the get connection, I need to write, because I'm using JDBC concept colon MySQL, because we are using MySQL, right? Colon double slash. My host name is localhost. By default, name of will be localhost. Localhost, right? And here my by default port number would be 3306 and slash, because I need to pass the database name, as I have copied the database name day3 underscore database. So I have mentioned here. I'll just close this double quotes and I'll put a comma. Now we need to pass the username. So by default, my username is root, and I haven't given any password while installing this SAM. So my password will be empty. I'll just put semicolon. This is what I have. Oh, I have given the wrong spelling. Great. Now I'll just click on this icon. I can see that what exactly they want. They are saying you need to import. So very carefully you need to import it. Connection. Basically, we are using this and we need to import it. Let me just check which kind of import they're asking. Okay, we'll start. Let me take you to the next step so I can tell you which kind of import we are going to use, right? Now, the next is, or you can use, hold on, we are using this import, but you just need to change the line. Import, you can just change it to java.sql connection example. So I have mentioned this, so you can see that the connection error will be removed. And the same way you need to pass, either if you want, you can pass asterisk sign. That means we want to include every class of my SQL. Yeah, so this way we can see the error has been successfully removed from my port connection con driver manager get connection. This is very, very important step, that when you're accessing any other classes or interfaces, you need to import it. Once you will show the import line in the code, that error will be removed automatically, because we have created the connections object. Now with the help of this connection object, we will be performing the condition, like we need to insert the data into the swings UI, right? So I'll be taking help of prepare statement. Prepare. This is prepared statement we are using. This is the prepared statement class. So I'm using object PS equals, with the help of this connection CUN dot, I'm going to use a function called prepare statement. Earlier, prepared statement was my class, but prepare statement is my function, and this is going to help me to apply the condition. So in double quotes, I would be mentioning insert into. Now we need to create a table, because we are telling machine that you need to insert somewhere. Where we need to tell them, right? So let me take you to XAMPP again, not here in the browser. In day3 database, I'm going to, they're asking for the table name, so let me just take you tab or day3 underscore tab, right? So let me just copy this. And how many columns we require? 3 columns, because we have name, email ID, and password. I'm creating it, and now they are asking me username, varchar, email, varchar, Varchar is basically characters and characters as well as numbers. You can use anything, right? And here it could be password. And again, I'm using this varchar. And they're asking for the length, so you can keep it 20, 20, and 20. You can keep it more than that also. Everything is fine. Now you just need to click on save. Successfully, we have created a table called as day3 underscore tab. I have copied the name of the table. I'm writing here insert into day3 underscore tab. Now, because we know that we have three columns to where we want to extract the data from Swing UI, and I wanted to save it into my database, those three columns, right? So what I'll do, I'll pass values and bracket, because we have three columns. So I'm going to use question mark, comma, question mark, comma, question mark. That means I'm depicting that user will send three values to the database, and that database will store these three values. So this is what dynamically we are passing it, right? Now let me just check why this error is coming. Okay, why this error is coming? Because they're saying, I think we have already used PS. So let me just prepare statement. So for prepare statement, we are using P. And let me see. Prepared statement. Okay, semicolon, and then might show an error. Prepared statement P2. Okay. Let me change the variable name. Then it might not show any error in a minute. So I'll just write pre. I think it would be fine now. Prepare statement, we have created a new object because P and PS might we have used earlier, right? So that's why I have passed PRE. This PRE is going to help me to set the data into my database. So PRE dot set string. The set string will help me to set the data into my database. What I have to do here, I need to pass my column name. My first column name will will be supporting this username. In the same way, I need to pass for second column and third column. So second will be second and third, and here I need to pass, like as I have passed UN, I'm going to pass EM, that is for email, and I'm going to pass the third column, that is called ES, that is password, right? So successfully we have passed this statement to execute those queries. Once we have done with that, we need to pass a condition here, pre dot execute update, because we want this condition to be execute and save my data into database. So pre dot execute update, as we have studied about the statements, execute statement, execute update. Those are the statements functions available, right? So I'm going to take in help of execute update. Here it is. So execute update will help you to save the data inside your database. And because how I will understand that successfully we have saved the data. So here I'm going to use J option dot show message dialog. So here I'll be passing null, and here I'll be passing message. To client, you have successfully enrolled into our portal. So see, done with all these steps. If you want to see here, I'll just shift it here. Wow, beautifully we have completed try and catch your flight. There is no error right now. Yes, this code will be executed when you will call your driver, right? So give me a moment. So basically, we want to add the libraries. You can find that the libraries folders are here. Just right click over the libraries, add jar folder. You can see that this jar folder is available, or you can right click again library, add library, because you can see that either if you could see the file here, no, we couldn't see the file here. Again, I'm right clicking on this, add jar and folder only. Let me take you to this user and this desktop, and you can see that we have MySQL connector Java 8. Click open, and definitely we can see that we've successfully added MySQL connector, right? So it's very important to add this MySQL connector, because if you are connecting any application with your database, you need this connector. If you don't have that, you would not be able to perform the code, right? So we have done with this part. Now we need to run it. When I'm going to run it, I can see a pop-up. So user Kushita email th@gmail.com, password 123456, right? I'll just click on registration. Oh my god, there is an error. So the error is they're saying class not found, exception com dot. Oh, there I have committed a mistake while writing spelling. You can see that com dot myql I have written it's SQL. So very simple. I'll again save it. I'll execute it. So very nice. I could see the error and how I'm helping you out these errors also. Right, Riti Sharma, right? Riti Sharma, email riti@gmail.com, and here I require password 12345, right? And I'll do registration. Finger crossed. Oh, again they are saying that there are some communication link failure. It's com.mysql cgjdbc exception, communication exception. Can we just check it again? Localhost 3306 database name is root. Perfectly fine. I'm just checking with students. Give me a minute. So the error was I could find that I have written local host. The host spelling is HOST. It should like we need to remove this extra S, right? I'm just saving it again, and as I have saved it successfully, I am executing it. Right click and run file. Now Ritika email r@gmail.com, and password could be 12345, right? I'll just click on register. Oh my god, wow, dear client, you have successfully registered into our portal. So just click on OK, and let's see that successfully we have saved the data or not. So here, this was my day 3 database, and this is my table. You can see that, wow, Ritika r@gmail.com and 12345. Successfully, we have saved data. I hope you have learned, how to connect our application using String framework. In you can save the data in MySQL, right? So it's very easy and beautifully we have seen how we have covered our journey, right? Now let me take you to the test link. You can just see here the test link is bit.ly/day3 java quiz. You just copy the link and appear for this test, and because the last date for appearing in the exam will be 12th October 2022. I hope you all have enjoyed. Please subscribe, like, and visit to our page. Thank you.